Hi, do you worry about your child's behaviour becoming out of control? Do they ignore you when you ask them not to do something, or you ask them to be kind to a sibling, or not squabble? If you find that you're raising your voice and they're just simply not listening to you, there are ways of changing this situation. But in that, you also need to respect your child. And last week, I heard a conversation between two parents and somebody who they were talking to about their child and how I think the child was maybe about 5 or 6 and had a sibling the same age, or maybe they were even twins. But this little boy, he was no more than 6, he had called his brother names. So his mother she just lost it, and she said that she'd told him what was going to happen, and he did it. So and he admitted what he'd done, and so she took it upon herself to teach him a lesson. What did she do? She got a bottle of squeezy soap, and she said, "Open your mouth." And she squirted this liquid soap into his mouth, and she said, "Go and wash your mouth out. We don't speak like that in this household." And the child made faces and went off to the bathroom to spit it out and literally wash his mouth out. But this behaviour does not teach a child anything about their language, what they should and shouldn't do. This is an indication that if you're resorting to any kind of methods like this, they will be deepening a disconnection between you and your child. And this, not only is it, a poison, it's got toxins in. Why would you put toxins in your child's mouth? If you care about your children, you would not be resorting to these methods. And clearly, this is not something that any respectful parent would do to their child. And I understand that some days are really hard, and you're stretched to the limit. You are probably juggling so many different things. But if you're using methods like this, you are not helping your child at all. And also, you're not helping yourself, because this is not going to, put an end to what's going on. It needs different measures. And the worst thing about this situation was the mother had no remorse whatsoever about what she'd done. She didn't think it was, it wasn't unacceptable. And I actually remember years ago looking after a couple of boys in London. I think they're probably about 8 and 10. And yeah, they were pretty wild. They were pretty full on. But, and I remember their mother telling me that, if they were naughty, if they, swear, or you're, are not kind to people, she said get them to wash their mouth out with soap and water. And this is probably something that was done maybe years ago to avert, corporal punishment. But so many parents today are living in so much fear about what they can and can't do with their children. It's certainly not a practice that I would recommend or ever do myself. But it took me back to that moment. But it seems that we haven't progressed, despite all the books and the knowledge that we've got about, how to care for your children. We've got Google, at our fingertips, and still parents are resorting to tactics that are wholly unacceptable. And if we do this to children, young children, what can you expect when they get to 10, 15? If you don't get your parenting right and act appropriately with your child, you are saving up trouble for, a later date. And that's when the regret will really show, because what's happening is somebody is out of control, and you can't blame your child. It's up to you as a parent to find a way that works. And if you don't understand what's going on, why they're not listening, then you need to get some help, because it will only get worse. And this is not something that is acceptable in this day and age, or ever really. I mean, if that mother had somebody put soap in her mouth, how would she feel? You always have to put yourself in your child's situation, and if it's not something that you do to yourself, then you shouldn't be doing it to your child. If you've got any views on this, do let me know, and also let me know how you do get your child to listen to you and behave. It's Juliet here, Sanity Nanny. I will be back with more tips